so first thing we're going to do today, lying on our backs, and I haven't done this before in any of the C classes. We've done it a few times standing up, but we haven't done it lying on our backs. Thinking about that midline squeeze. So I want you to actually push your insteps together and push your knees together and work quite hard to apply that pressure from the outside in towards your midline, your plumb line, your central line, and we're going to try and take a squeeze and switch all the muscles on. And at the same time, so do that now and try and keep doing it all the way through. You're just going to breathe quite deeply, and as you're doing this, take a sort of check of the overall position of the rest of your spine. So squeezing knees, squeezing ankles together. Thinking about your pelvis, is it equally weighted on both sides? Maybe lift your head up, have a little look. Is your pubic bone and hip bones, are they on the same plane? I felt like I was a little bit tucked under then, maybe because we were working quite hard in that last exercise. And that quite often happens. If you've been working really strongly, everything's gone a little bit tense, and when you first lie down on your back, you're going to be maybe a little bit tucked under. Make sure pubic bone, hip bones on the same plane, and then you've got your natural curve in your lower back, however much that may be. Keep those knees, feet and ankles squeezing together. It might be shaking a little bit. I'm shaking a little bit already. We don't really build the endurance in these muscles, but that's what we're trying to do today. It's quite strong. So squeeze everything in. Feel like you're drawing your ribs in. So think about the capital X on your torso. So you've got the centre of the X at your belly button. The hips internally are sort of lifting in and up towards that belly button. Pelvic floor is lifting in and up. The rib cage is drawing down. So you've got the hips coming in, ribs drawing down. Those are the four corners of the capital X, the four ends of the lines, if you like. And then in the centre, you're sort of, again, switching everything on. Imagine you're wrapping everything around your spine, around this midline. So keep those knees squeezing together. Keep all this switched on. Ribs at the back, now that you've sorted out your neutral pelvis, should just be brushing the mat, those lower ribs. Collarbone, nice and open. Relaxed. Watch that the shoulders are rounded forwards, pitched forwards. Tucking the chin in, lengthening the back of the neck. You've got the natural curve in the nape of the neck. Still squeezing those legs together. So you might be now very aware of inside thigh, maybe pelvic floor, and like I say, it might all be quivering a little bit because there's not much stamina there, and mine is definitely a little bit. So we're just going to hold this position. I'm going to put my elbows on the floor and put my fingers together and cup my hands, my fingers over my hip bones, and I'm going to slide the leg that's closest to you away along the floor, but I'm not going to let it rest on the floor. I'm going to hover the leg off the floor, and I can just feel the back of my calf just brushing the floor. Maybe your heel is just brushing the floor. Actually, just there. So I'm not resting the leg, I've just let it slide away. My focus as I've done that is to try and maintain this midline squeeze, but also keep these hips absolutely level. So when you slide that long lever of that leg away, that hip might want to drop. It won't do very much, it's all very, very subtle. And then I want you to take the opposite hand to that long leg, keep this leg hovering off the floor, try and relax it. I know it's easy for me to say, but try and just keep it holding there, but don't get too bunched up in the thigh. Take the opposite hand up to the ceiling, and put the same side hand on your rib cage here. And then reach that arm back towards the floor. You're not trying to touch the floor, you're just lengthening it away. And actually I've turned my thumb down, so it's going to touch the floor. But I'm not, the reason I've got this hand on this rib cage is I'm not allowing my ribs to flare. I'm drawing the ribs on this side down. I'm drawing my shoulder blade down to try and put them in the pocket of this same side. So essentially we've got a crossways challenge. Hold it there, lengthen, 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 lengthen. Stay strong, stay switched on in that centre. Breathing really nice deeply. Trying to not let your breath disturb this connection, especially with those ribs. And let's bring that arm and that leg back in. Just let the knees relax out a moment, just to release that extra tension that we don't normally have in those inside thighs. And then let's go again. So squeezing the legs together. Think about your overall neutral spine. It should be pretty good now. You should be in quite a good natural position. Cupping the hands over the hip bones, knees are squeezing together. Lengthen that leg away along the floor, the other leg now. Watch that that hip doesn't change. Just hover that leg off of the floor. So you're just challenging, keeping this tissue box absolutely square. No twisting, no flaring of the ribs. Everything is switched on. I'm thinking of drawing everything in towards that midline. I'm going to take that opposite arm up to the ceiling, place my other hand on my lower ribs, checking that as I stretch that arm back, there's no change here. I'm working really hard to draw this down. Taking the arm back, holding it there, breathing as deeply as you can without disturbing those ribs, that torso. Feel like I'm drawing everything in towards the centre. I'm hanging on really strongly in my centre, switched on my core, but at the same time my spine is in its natural curves. It's quite relaxed almost. Keep breathing. Notice where you might be holding increasing tension. The front of that thigh is getting a little bit for me. I'm going to really just try and relax that leg. The leg is really heavy, but I want it to be quite relaxed. Pelvis staying still, rib cage drawing down. Hand and foot reaching away in the opposite direction. Tucking the chin in, lengthening the back of the neck. And coming back in. Okay, so let's open up the feet to a natural hip width position. And let's just take a dead bug, which is one arm and the opposite leg up to the ceiling. So let's just hold that arm and that leg up. So I want you to try and utilise that not movement we just used, but the exercise we just did to switch everything on and stay really strong in the torso as we just challenge that in our bodies. So from a beautiful upright perpendicular arm and thigh, we're going to extend the arm and the leg away. I can my foot and my hand are pretty much at the same height. My knees are fairly level, so just to 45 degrees. This hand, I can see the whole of that arm. Don't let it go back there. I can't see my hand here. I can only just see the inside of my elbow. So just to here, and then coming back in. And there, be really accurate. So we've got the same challenge we just had, but we're adding movement to it. Maybe just check with that other hand, is everything drawing in and down? You could add your breathing here, but you don't really need to. Just make sure you're not holding the breath. Let's challenge this more by taking, don't take the arm and the leg further away, but draw them in more. So my hand is going to touch my same side knee. I'm going to draw this knee in even more, but I'm making sure, I'm going to place this hand here, that my lower back, my lower back doesn't change shape. So we're just challenging more the amount of movement. And this is very interesting. Being able to bend that knee in further than a 90-degree angle without changing your pelvis, without tucking under in that lower back. Couple more, all the way touching, and come back, and let's swap sides. So from your beautiful base position, lifting opposite arm and leg up, setting that torso just from the 90 degrees, so it doesn't really go very far. You might be feeling a little bit frustrated with these exercises. It's good to know exactly how far you're moving. It's good for your proprioception, for your brain to know exactly where your body is in space. And then, once you don't have to think about that anymore, you can think about where you're moving from, if that movement is making you change anything else. So my torso is staying strong. This spare leg has attempted to want to roll out there. Trying not to let that happen. Okay, so let's take the movement a bit bigger now. Touching the thigh here, drawing this knee in as far as I can, but absolutely no change in that lower back. Extending, and I'm probably taking this arm a bit too far back. Make sure you can still see your hand in your periphery vision. And one more. And coming back down. Okay. Some nice strong abdominals now. That was all very subtle. Didn't really work very hard. So you're going to have the hands at the back of the head. You're going to have those elbows forwards. You're going to be up in tabletop with your legs. And let's have the legs slightly apart, feet and knees slightly apart, hip width apart. Pelvic neutral. If this is too much for you, by all means put the feet down. If you're going to have the feet down though, I would squeeze feet and knees together for this one. So this is a little bit harder with the legs up in tabletop. We are going, in fact let's squeeze feet and knees together in tabletop as well. So squeeze feet and knees together. We're taking an abdominal curl. Remember, the work is coming from your arms. You're folding over that crease that we made earlier. Head is heavy in the hands. Pelvis, torso staying in that neutral position. Elbows staying forwards. Try not to open them out. Couple more if you can. If you want to take the breathing, breath out as you come up, breath in as you lower, no relaxing. Breath out as you come up, breath in as you lower. Okay, we're going to add an abdominal twist to this, and working on the obliques. So I'm going to come up closest towards the camera over here. I've cleared both shoulder blades, and my left shoulder blade, which is the one closest to you, closer to the floor, is still clear. I'm going to take my opposite arm and push it against this thigh and stretch the arm away. I'm going to extend that same side leg away along the floor, bring it back in, place the hand at the back of the head, come into the centre, swap to the other side. We're still up. Shoulder blades are still clear. Twist to the other side. Take the opposite hand across. Push against that thigh a little bit. Palm is down. Extend the other leg away. Feel that extra stress on the torso. Leg back in, hand at the back of the head, and come back to the centre, and then lower. We're going to do 3 more sets of those, starting on the second side. So you're going to be turning away from me. You're coming up, extending that opposite hand, arm, push into that leg. Stretch the other leg away. So the one that you're not touching is stretching away. Comes back in. Place the hand to the back of the head. Come into the centre. Roll across to the other side. We'll just twist across the other side. Palm is down. Push into that leg. Keep the torso still. Extend and lower. centre, down. One more time each side. Here we go. Up in the centre, extend, push, extend that leg away, come back in. Hands behind to the centre, to the second side. Stretch the arm across, extend the leg away. There, hand, last one, here we go. Up you come, twist. Extend that arm, push away, extend the opposite leg. Keep that pelvis absolutely still. Lift up even higher, in the centre. Twist to the other side, push that arm in. I'm pushing that arm into that leg to just stabilise everything. Really lengthening that leg away, coming back to the centre. And good. Take a nice big deep breath. Let those legs roll from side to side. So Pilates Class C, slower paced, but we get some strong work done as well. So well done if you managed to do all of that. Maybe if you feel like it, and I certainly feel like it, stretch those legs away, stretch the arms out overhead. Take a big deep breath in and then a relax.